What is class versus caste? Are they same or are they different? Normally, in the Indian context, caste and class are considered to be same, but in reality, they are different. What is caste? Caste is an ascribed status. What do you mean by ascribed? Ascribed is by birth. The caste you belong to is decided at your birth. That is whether you are from Brahminism, Vaishnism, Kshatriyism or SC/ST or any other communities, that is decided by birth. So caste is ascribed. The term caste itself is defined by a Portuguese word called as casta. What does casta mean? A casta is a grouping based on your blood, creed, etc. So there is a grouping decided at the birth itself. Then what is class? Class is achieved status. That is, despite the class you are born in the birth, you can change your class. How? Through education, money, political power, etc. So that is the main difference. And in caste, there is fixed hierarchy from the beginning. That is Brahmanism at the top, Kshatriyism, Vaishnism, and Vaishnism, and then Shudras. But there is no such status in classes. It keeps on changing. Then moving on to next, the nature. The caste system is normally rigid. That is, it is very difficult to move from one caste to other caste or one hierarchy to another hierarchy. But it is not impossible, but it is difficult. Whereas in class system, it is very flexible. The more accumulation of wealth you do, the more accumulation of education you do, the classes keeps on changing. So it is easier to change your class system compared to caste system. However, I said it is rigid but not impossible. How you can change? By Sanskritization. M.S. Srinivas, a famous sociologist and anthropologist, said you can change your status of the caste by Sanskritization. What is Sanskritization? Whereby a lower community starts emulating or imitating a higher community. And in class, how you can change from one class system to another class? That is by acquiring wealth or acquiring education. Through that, you can increase the class system. And what is the current relevance? In current times, there is a congruency of caste and class in rural areas. That is, normally the caste is almost similar to class in rural areas. Meaning, more higher caste you have, the more higher class or higher status you have in the rural areas. That is, if you belong to higher caste, you will have more access to land, more access to agriculture produce, more access to other resources. If you are from lower caste, the access to education, the access to employment, all keeps on changing. That is not the case with respect to urban areas. In urban areas, class is not equal to caste, because a person belonging to lower caste such as SC/ST can achieve higher status. How? By acquiring wealth. If he is a famous industrialist or if he is a famous entrepreneurship, then he can obviously claim higher status. Okay. So in the current context, there is a dichotomy between class and caste. However, there is also interplay between caste and class in Indian context.